Welcome to Stupid Simple Summaries. I am Raymond, and I read the books that I want to read with no regard to educational facts, and give you a summary of each chapter at as close to 90 seconds as possible. Maybe more. Here we go. So in chapter 1 of Ready Player One, we find out that our main character's name is Wade, and we get a pretty good idea of his kind of everyday life. Growing up, his dad died when he was pretty young, and his mom was an online prostitute in Oasis and tech support. She worked in a call center. She dealt with phones. She died in a drug overdose. Wade had to go live with his Aunt Alice. And Aunt Alice is a mean, cold woman who doesn't care about Wade. The only thing that she cares is that the government will now give her more food stamps, or food vouchers rather. Since Wade's mom was obviously busy all the time and Wade didn't have a dad, she just gave Wade an Oasis headset and basically just let the world of Oasis raise Wade, which he said was fine. Inside of Oasis there's plenty of learning resources, playground, stuff for kids I guess. It was an endless library of knowledge. Wade was a bit of a scavenger because he hated staying with his Aunt Alice. Every time that he would find anything of value, she would essentially just take it and claim that it was a form of payment for his rent. And in the winter it's cold and he just needs a warm place to sleep, so he has to stay with his Aunt Alice. He usually sleeps in the laundry room so that he doesn't ever have to deal with her. Well, one morning, Aunt Alice comes in and finds that he is using a laptop that he had found. Immediately, she tries to take it. Wade says no, so Aunt Alice goes and gets her heavily tattooed, straight out of prison boyfriend to just muscle it out of Wade's hands. Very upset with this, Wade decides, screw it, I'm just gonna go to school early. So in the year 2044, I guess property is so valuable, I'm assuming because there's just so many people. So Wade lives in what is called a stack. And a stack is mobile homes stacked on top of more mobile homes. Sometimes 15 to 20 high. Doesn't sound safe at all. But regardless, somehow they make it work. I don't know how that bottom one just doesn't crush under all the pressure. I mean, they're not made very well. But anyway, the stacks have pipes running up and down them for water, sewage, electricity. The whole thing just sounds absurd. Especially because the only way up and down these things is the craziest, scary, iron ladder that just kind of hanging on. Could you imagine climbing up 20 stories with a rope put together ladder made out of other ladders tied together? On his way down, he always stops in to check on his favorite neighbor, Mrs. G. Mrs. G is this elderly woman who was also raised in the 80s, who loves to spend her days inside of Oasis checking out the mega churches and taking trips to the Holy Land and sitting in on sermons. And Wade is always more than happy to help fix her Oasis whenever it's kind of on the fritz. And the benefit, of course, is that Wade can always ask her questions about the 80s to see if he can figure out any clues that Halliday might have alluded to find this crazy Easter egg. She's always incredibly grateful for Wade's help and is more than happy to give Wade some extra powdered eggs that she might have, or soy bacon. But anyway, he declines and continues on his way to school. So right across the street from the stacks is this mountain of cars, right? We ran out of fossil fuels and therefore cars have just become completely useless. So the city rounded up all these abandoned cars and put them into this heap of a mountain. Well, one day Wade was walking through the cars and he found a little pathway into this mountain of cars. He found an old VW bus, and the VW bus still had keys in it. Like I said, cars were abandoned. People had no need for them. But inside of this VW bus was privacy. And that was the most valuable asset to Wade, as if he were to stay with his aunt, he was always at risk for having something stolen from him. This is where Wade kept all of his valuables. It was his own little personal hideout. Wade didn't go to a public school anymore because the government apparently just couldn't handle public schools anymore. They were being overrun. There was no money. They were just a horrible place to go to. And Wade signed up to go to school online in the Oasis. So when he was approved, they sent him a Oasis visor. And this is where he kept it. Inside of this van, he had a bike that he would pedal on to regenerate some batteries to power his Oasis visor. And that was about the only form of physical activity that Wade had throughout the day. So because of that, on top of his government-issued high-sugar corn syrup diet and spending all day inside of the Oasis, Wade was overweight. Wade had put up egg cartons and some cardboard and laid down some carpet as well, just to kind of dampen the sound because the streets were so bad that he needed all the privacy that he could get. The fear of having somebody come in and steal everything while he was in there was a very real possibility. So Wade finally takes out his Oasis visor, puts it on, logs in just in time for chapter 2. Thank you for watching the first chapter of Ready Player One. If you liked the video or want to know what happens next, be sure to subscribe to be the first to get the latest updates. Check out the description below for links to Amazon where you can buy the book and support the author if you're enjoying it. Thanks all and have a great day.